The princess archetype is the young feminine ready to come into herself and blossom into herself.
You're trembling.
I'm not trembling.
You like me because I'm a scoundrel. There aren't enough scoundrels in your life.
I happen to like nice men.
I'm a nice man.
Very nice.
Is about her coming into herself as a woman who can be in relationship to a man that she cares about, as well as discovering a relationship to this brother and to the Force.
The Force is strong in my family. My father has it. I have it. And my sister has it.
Luke and Leia. They are, of course, Apollo and Artemis, the divine twins of mythology who come into the world, male and female, to restore it to order.
If I don't make it back, you're the only hope for the Alliance.
Luke, don't talk that way. You have a power I don't understand and could never have.
You're wrong, Leia. You have that power, too. In time, you'll learn to use it as I have.
She's not just a love interest, as a lot of, princesses in these stories tend to be. She actually has her own story, her own mythology. She turns out to be a Jedi, and that's very much a journey which she has to take herself.
Check it out, Corporal. We'll cover you. Roger, roger. Uh-oh. Laughter.
Good Skywalker. Meet Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Hi.
Obi-Wan is an interesting character that we see develop throughout the films. At the beginning, he is clearly subordinate to Qui-Gon Jinn as a young and vital Jedi. But then we see him in much more of a leadership role as he begins to school young Anakin.
Anakin! She went into the club, Master.
Patience. Use the Force.
I try, Master.
Increasingly, they develop a relationship like brothers.
You are strong and wise, Anakin, and I am very proud of you. And you have become a far greater Jedi than I could ever hope to be.
Even though it's often called the hero's journey, it is usually done in groups.
Follow him!
We're gonna need some help.
There isn't time!
And this has several implications. One, we need to be good team players. And teams are always imperfect.
That was some shortcut, Anakin. He went completely the other way. Once again, you've proved you...
If you'll excuse me...
I hate it when he does that.
After all, they're people. So we have to cope with the flaws of the people we're working with. Whether you're talking about Jason and the Argonauts or Frodo and the Fellowship of the Ring, you have some motley crew, some odd team that is able to take on terrible challenges. So the team is very effective.
It's them. Blast them. Get back to the center! Get back!
Certainly has courage.
What good will it do us if he gets himself killed?
Luke Skywalker finds an unlikely comrade in the person of Han Solo.
You don't believe in the Force, do you?
Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side.
Han represents another classic archetype.
Half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder.
The mercenary pirate.
Who's scruffy-looking?
Most well-socialized people want to be liked by others.
But they're gonna kill her!
Better her than me.
Han Solo cares a little less about that. His name's Solo. He's out for himself.
She's rich.
Rich.
Rich, powerful. Listen, if you were to rescue her, the reward would be...
What?
Well, more wealth than you can imagine.
I don't know. I can imagine quite a bit.
The character of Han Solo, he strikes me as not being so much from ancient mythology, but more like a Western outlaw.
Keep your eyes open, huh?
Hey!
There's something shady about him.
Oh, you slimy, double-crossing, no-good swindler. You got a lot of guts coming here.
He's on the run from the law, but he's essentially good.
How you doing, you old pirate? So good to see you!
The cowboy is almost iconic in American imagination as someone who is an outsider, but he's a hero we look to precisely because we value that kind of independence self-reliance, the fact that he depends on himself and nobody else.
Yes, Greedo. As a matter of fact, I was just going to see your boss. Tell Jabba that I've got his money.
You have the sense of a Wild West town.
I don't have it with me. Tell Jabba.
And nobody even really cares if somebody gets shot in the bar.
Yes, I bet you have.
As long as they clean up the mess or pay for it.
Sorry about the mess.
I always thought Star Wars was a Western in the future. I really did. I thought that Star Wars was the quintessential Western played out in a different universe.
Right here, Jabba.
You didn't think I was going to run, did you?
You could have put Harrison Ford in a cowboy hat and put a star on him, and it wouldn't have seemed out of place. It was that classic Gary Cooper riding into town, except that in this case, it was Harrison Ford in a spaceship.
His hero journey path is that of the warrior and the lover. He has to learn to commit himself to a cause outside himself, and he has to learn to open his heart to love.
There are many like me who think that possibly one of the sexiest lines ever said in any movie is uttered by Han Solo when Princess Leia says,
I love you.
He doesn't say, I love you too, he says,
I know.
Be still my heart. Every woman who's ever loved a bad boy fell in love with Han Solo at that moment if they hadn't already.
He begins to actually think of someone else and not just himself. And that's a lesson that many people really need to learn to become more whole.
Don't move!
But also to learn the art of relationship and friendship.
I love you.
I know.
So it is realizing our need for one another that I think gets conveyed in a really profound way.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with us.
May the Force be with us all.
I am C-3PO, human-cyborg relations, and this is my counterpart, R2-D2.
Hello.
Excuse me, sir. Put them back together right now. Sir, might I?
Call them sidekicks,
Don't get technical with me.
fools, or simply clowns. During his journey, the mythic hero was usually accompanied by one or more faithful followers.
That little droid and I have been through a lot together.
Faithful, if not always very helpful.
George Lucas is a smart man to know that you couldn't keep everything at the fever pitch of high emotion.
The possibility of successfully navigating an asteroid field is approximately 3,720 to 1.
Never tell me the odds.
Look!
You had to have comic relief in there to make the cake rise.
Now, there, I agree with you. I could do with a tune-up myself.
In R2-D2 and C-3PO, you have the classic comedy team in terms of the thin guy and the fat guy. The fact that they just both happen to be robots.
Say 3PO. R2-D2.
The droids strike me as going back to Abbott and Costello or Laurel and Hardy, the kind of knockabout stuff of old films where you needed somebody to provide slapstick and release.
We're doomed.
In physical comedy, because there's so much at stake that it would be oppressive if there weren't some kind of release.
This is madness.
C-3PO and R2-D2 give us a little bit of classic bumbling comedy shtick. There's always the stalwart hero, and then there's the guy next to him going, do we have to go in the dark place?
I'm not getting in there. I'm going to regret this.
When I first saw Star Wars, it was so hard to relate to what was happening at the very, I mean, it was so not where I live. It's so not what I know.
Of course I'm worried, and you should be too.
As soon as you had those two characters show up, immediately you're laughing and you're comfortable and you think, now I know who I am. Now I know I can fit in here. I can live here because they're like me.
My obtuse little friend, you obviously have a great deal to learn about human behavior.
C-3PO seems more like us. Like, what would I do in that situation? I'd probably panic and run away, and that's what C-3PO does. almost every time.
Just open the door, you stupid lump!
R2-D2 and C-3PO are a little beside the action, looking at it. So they are with us. They are observers, and they add framing and perspective.
No, I don't think he likes you at all. No, I don't like you either.
And so they also serve as a Greek chorus.